Does your mind race before games? Before the game starts, do you have all different sorts of anxious and worrisome thoughts about what will happen? Well, in this episode, I'm going to go over a system that you can use to calm racing thoughts before games. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Now, racing thoughts before games happen because of an overactive mind, right? That is the core and the root problem when it comes to a racing mind. Your mind will likely race about what will happen in the game. You'll worry about maybe what other people think. You might be having racing thoughts about the last game you played. But what we are seeing is that your mind is racing because you're worried about what will happen, thinking about what has happened, but most importantly, because you have a difficult time calming your mind. Now, there was one athlete that I worked with, it was about a year ago now, and he was challenging me on this idea of calming his mind. And it was a really, really great conversation that we were having, and it's one that I still remember today because we were going over this idea of why would an athlete want to have a calm mind if competition is intense and we want to be fast, we want to be energetic, right? Why would we then want to have our mind calm? The reason that we want to have our mind calm, and this is what I talked to him about, is that a calm mind does not mean that you're going to be slow. It doesn't mean that you're going to be dull and slow with making decisions or even, not giving as much effort during the actual game. In fact, having a calm mind is going to help improve all of that. Because a calm mind means that your mind is not racing all over the place. You're not thinking about 100 different things at once. It really means you're able to control your attention. And when you play your best, you will be focused in the present moment on what's happening. You'll be able to make quick decisions. You'll be able to act quickly based on those decisions. You'll be able to move on from mistakes quickly and not dwell on them. None of that happens when the mind races. When we have an overactive mind, it makes it more difficult to focus. It makes it more difficult to move on from mistakes. It even makes it more difficult to play in the flow state because our mind is going all over the place. That's why we want to have a calm mind. Not because it slows us down, but because it actually improves our performance, makes us quicker, speeds us up, just elevates every single part of our game because our mind is more in our control. So this is why we want to calm racing thoughts going into games. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, the real root problem of this, of this racing mind or having these racing thoughts is having an overactive mind. So what we have to do is we have to look at how to calm your mind or, calm anybody's mind over an extended period of time. Now, I know that might not be what you want to hear, especially if you have a game today or tomorrow. And don't worry, I'm going to get to that. So here in a few minutes, I'm going to get to a pregame routine that you can use to calm racing thoughts. But what I want to go over first, and what's honestly the most important thing for you to begin putting in place as an athlete, if you want to calm racing thoughts over an extended period of time, is a routine that you need to be taking every single day. Now, you can modify this routine if you want. You can think of new exercises, do your own research. But the bottom line is the only athletes that I've seen make true progress in terms of calming their racing thoughts are the athletes who have taken daily action to do so. This is honestly what I experienced myself. I was a very anxious athlete and honestly a very anxious person. And it wasn't until I began taking daily action, in fact, the same 2 daily actions that I'm going to share with you here in a minute, it wasn't until I started taking those actions that I actually saw my racing thoughts start to slow down. And it happened for games, but it also just happened on a daily basis. Now, the 2 actions that I'm talking about involve mindfulness meditation and journal writing. Mindfulness meditation is something that I try to teach to all the athletes that I work with. I think it's a phenomenal exercise for athletes to use, and honestly just anybody to use because of the benefits that it has on your mindset and on your mental health. Now, for athletes specifically, mindfulness meditation is a tool or an exercise that you want to be doing every single day because it's going to help over time start to settle and slow your mind and slow those racing thoughts. The reason that this happens is because the more time you spend performing the meditation, the better you get at being able to keep your attention present, which means your attention's not going into the past or into the future, which is really what's causing the racing thoughts and really what is having a racing mind. The more we can stay present, the calmer our mind will be. And A really cool benefit of that is the more focused we're going to be, which will then translate into better performances. With mindfulness meditation, all you do is you set aside a certain amount of time. I recommend starting with 5 to 10 minutes, but work your way up to 20 minutes. And you just try to focus on your breathing. And as you're trying to focus on your breathing, you take in nice rhythmic deep breaths. You don't want to try to complicate this or anything. What will naturally happen is your mind's going to drift, and you just try to bring your attention back onto your breath. And you do that over and over again until the timer is up. And whenever I'm working with athletes, I give them one goal when it comes to the meditation. It's not to be perfect at focusing in the present moment. It's not even to slow their thinking and reduce those racing thoughts. That's not the goal. The only goal I give them is to keep their eyes closed for the set period of time that they're going to meditate. And then we allow the act of meditation to achieve the rest. The next daily action that I encourage athletes to use, and I encourage you to use if you want to calm your racing thoughts, is journal writing. Journal writing, specifically this form of self-reflective writing that I'm referring to, is a great way to clear out your head, like clear out your mind, clear out the clutter that's in there. And over time, this helps you, it really helps slow down those racing thoughts because you're building more awareness with this exercise. And instead of having all those worries just jumbled up in your head, you're starting to put them on paper. And again, this is one that you'll see progress with over time. You might not see significant improvement with it in 1 day or 2 days, but if you stick with it for weeks and months, you're going to see a reduction in those racing thoughts. And all you need to do with the journal writing is, get yourself a journal, a notebook, composition notebook, anything, and aim to write 1 page a day. You can do this in the morning, right when you wake up. You could also do it before practice or before your games. But just aim to write 1 page of whatever is on your mind. Doesn't matter what you write about. So those are the 2 daily actions you want to be taking right now to start calming your racing mind before games. And the reason I say this is going to help calm your mind before games is because over time, this will help create a calmer mindset. Now, the other 2 exercises that we want to be using, in addition to the meditation and the journal writing, are going to be used pregame. Now, you can use meditation pregame. That's a really, really great thing to do. If you have some time to do it before the game, whether it's on the bus, in the dugout, at your house before the game, anytime, right? And the same thing with the journal writing. You can definitely do the journal writing before games. But these 2 exercises that I'm about to go over, they are specifically helpful right before the game begins. The first one is count breathing. Now, this is a modified version of the meditation, but it works in a very similar way to the meditation to help center your attention in the present moment and calm yourself down. What you want to do with the count breathing is inhale for a certain count. Maybe you inhale for a count of 4, and then you exhale for a count of 4. You could also inhale for a count of 8, exhale for a count of 10, inhale for a count of 5, exhale for a count of 10. It doesn't really matter what rhythm or count that you use. The principle is you're focusing on the counting, you're taking rhythmic deep breaths over and over and over again. Because again, when your mind is racing before a game, we have to bring it back into the present moment. If you could just flip a switch, be present, not worry about all those different things on your mind wouldn't race as much. When you focus on the numbers, you bring your attention back into the present moment, and then the breathing has the added benefit of calming the nerves and the anxiety that you're likely feeling. The other exercise you can do right before the game begins is a visualization for relaxation. And this one really works if the racing thoughts you have lead to a stiff and tense body. This visualization is different than some other visualizations that you might be using for your sport because this one focuses specifically on getting you calm and relaxed. So instead of visualizing yourself playing well or visualizing past successes, you're going to visualize a relaxing scene. And this is a great one to do if you are generally more of a anxious person in general. You just want to go through or go back, imagine just a really, really relaxing scene, a relaxing environment. Put yourself in that place. Take some deep breaths while you do, and just try to stay in that memory for a few minutes. Again, this is a great one to do if you have some time on the bus before you get to the field or court. Go through and do this. While you're stretching, you can do it, but you could also do it right before the game begins just as a way to try to calm and relax your mind. Now, there's one bonus kind of tip that I like to use when it comes to calming racing thoughts, and it's actually gratitude. Now, gratitude is not something I talk a lot about. It's not something that's really talked a lot about in sports at all, but if you're able to think about what you're grateful for in terms of your sport, how you're grateful to be healthy enough to play, how you're grateful to be able to compete today, you're excited to go out there. What that's going to do is take your attention off of a lot of the results that you're probably worried about, get you to stop thinking about the past mistakes you've made or the last bad game you had, and it's going to help you just focus on simply why you're happy to be there, what you're grateful for. And that will work wonders to reduce your anxiety as well. So, in summary, calming racing thoughts going into games, it takes a lot more than just exercises done right before the game begins. Because we have to recognize that racing thoughts are caused by a mind that has trouble being still, an overactive mind. So, we have to take a long term approach where we take daily action to calm our racing mind. And that's best done through the use of mindfulness meditation and then some journal writing. But then before games, you also want to work to calm your mind by bringing yourself more into the present moment, where again, you can use the meditation, but you can also use some count breathing and then some of that visualization for relaxation to help you calm down, be relaxed, and be present. And then lastly, and this is something you want to do all the time when you're playing, be grateful to play. Grateful that you can compete, grateful you get to go out there, face off against your opponent, spend the time with your teammates, whatever it is you're grateful about. Let's think about that instead of all the different worries that are on your mind. Now, if you are interested in learning more about the one-on-one coaching I offer to help you calm your racing mind and build all the different mental skills that you need to succeed, I've put a link in the description below to schedule a free introductory coaching call. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.